So, have you ever tried to use a Web3 product and felt like you needed a PhD just to figure out what's going on? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. It's this huge barrier to entry, right? Well, today we're going to explore how one specific discipline, user centric design, is stepping in to tackle that exact problem. It's all about turning that super confusing blockchain tech into simple, trusted experiences that anyone can use. All right, let's get into it.
All right, here's the plan. We're going to kick things off by talking about the big usability problem in Web3. Then we'll look at how design creates clarity and trust. After that, we'll walk through the actual process designers follow, see why this all matters for business, and wrap up by looking at some Web3 products that have been totally reimagined.
Okay, first up, the Web3 usability problem. Let's really frame this challenge that's keeping so many people from diving into the decentralized web.
I mean, this is a question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point, right? You hear all this buzz about some amazing new dApp or DeFi platform, you get excited, you go to try it out, and it's just a mess. It's clunky, it's confusing, and honestly, it can be a little scary. So what gives? Why is it so hard?
Well, here's the thing. The complexity isn't some bug that needs to be fixed. It's actually baked right into the technology itself. With the web we're used to, everything's kind of hidden. But in Web3, you're interacting directly with the blockchain. You're managing your own wallet, you're signing transactions that are totally irreversible, and that, right there, is a huge wall for most people to climb. But this is where things get interesting, because for a problem this big, you need a powerful solution. And in our story, the hero is design. It's all about designing for clarity and trust. So what exactly is Web3 UX design? Well, think of it as a bridge. It's the practice of taking all those scary, complicated blockchain interactions and turning them into experiences that just make sense. They feel intuitive, they feel safe, and they help Web3 grow by actually letting people use it without getting a headache. And this is a really important distinction to make. In Web 2, right, you log in with an email and password, and that's it. The company takes care of all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. But Web 3 flips that script completely. You are in control. You connect your wallet. You approve your transactions. And because of that, the design has to work so much harder to earn your trust and make sure you understand exactly what's happening every step of the way. Okay, so how do they actually pull this off? It's not some kind of magic wand. It's a really deliberate step-by-step process. Let's walk through that path to simplicity. It all starts with building a solid foundation. First up, product discovery. This is where designers basically become investigators, digging deep to understand the real purpose of the product. Next, they shift focus to the who with user research. They're trying to get inside the minds of the actual users. What are their pain points? What do they really need? And once they have those answers, they create the experience strategy, which is essentially the master plan for creating a smooth, simple journey for the user. All right, with the strategy set, it's time to start building. Think of it like building a house. First, you need the blueprint, right? That's information mapping, organizing all the content so it makes sense. Then you build the frame of the house with wireframing. These are just the simple black and white layouts that focus on structure and flow, nothing else. And only when that's solid do you start painting the walls with visual design. This is where the look and feel comes to life. The colors, the fonts, everything that makes the interface clean, inviting, and trustworthy. Now it's time for the magic touches. Interaction design is all about how the product feels to use. Those smooth animations, the little clicks that just feel right. But does it actually work in the real world? That's where the most important step comes in, usability testing. This is where they put the design in front of real people to see where it breaks or where people get confused. No egos allowed, just pure, honest feedback. Finally, once everything is tested and polished, it's the design handoff, where they package it all up perfectly for the developers to build. And of course, designers aren't just doing this with pen and paper. They have an amazing toolkit. You've got Figma for the actual UI design, Maze for user testing, and tools like Spline and Lottie to add cool 3D visuals and animations. Then there's Zeppelin to make the handoff to developers super smooth, and Notion to keep all the documentation in one place. It's a whole suite of tools designed to make this process seamless. So we've covered the how, but now for the most important part, the why. Why does any of this actually matter? I mean, why should a Web3 project invest all this time and money into design? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It works. First off, you can't fake experience. We're talking about more than 7 years of dedicated expertise just in product design. That's a long time to be perfecting your craft, especially in a space as new as Web3.
And check this out, a 99% client retention rate. Think about that for a second. That's not just a fancy number. That means that when companies see the results of this design process, they stick around. It's proof that this isn't just a nice to have. It's delivering real, measurable value. And here's what that value looks like in the real world. Good design means more people will actually start using your product, and faster. It builds that rock-solid user trust that is just absolutely essential in Web3. It means fewer people give up and leave, your product can scale up, and at the end of the day, it leads to a much higher return on your investment. It's a total win-win. Okay, so where is all this great design work actually showing up? Let's take a look at the kinds of Web3 products being completely reimagined by this focus on the user. Honestly, it's everywhere you look. We're talking about dApps that are actually a pleasure to use, crypto wallets that make you feel secure, not confused, DeFi platforms that turn a fire hose of data into something you can actually understand, NFT platforms that are fun to explore. Even complex things like DAO platforms are getting easier for everyone to participate in. It's a total transformation. And this quote really just sums it all up perfectly. Effective design helps businesses turn that complexity into usable, trusted experiences. That's the whole game right there. A Web3 designer is essentially a translator. They take all that complicated technical blockchain stuff and turn it into something simple, clear, and human. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. For so long, the incredible potential of Web3 has been trapped behind this giant wall of complexity. But now, design is slowly but surely tearing that wall down, brick by brick, making these powerful tools accessible to everyone. So, if we can make the most complex parts of the internet simple, what kind of incredible new possibilities is that going to unlock for all of us?